I've been following Graham Linehan on that Thex. Used to be Twitter, it's now Thex, isn't it? On Thex. And it's like a battlefield for him. And it's words and pictures. Endless, like, attacks from people who just want to pile in, and then a few ringleaders or a core of witches who are in cahoots with each other, think each other's brilliant, and think they're somehow winning by driving him to distraction. And a new pattern that's emerged is implied death threats, which are, as we say, dog whistles. And it's like, it's rather important that Mr. Linehan recognises a few things about himself, if that's the game that's being played against him, because earlier on today he rebroadcast a kind of implied death threat, but it could have meant something else as well. It had been done sly-like, but he rebroadcast it and tagged the police in on it. And I just I wanted to respond with the right response, but it had already been deleted. My response was right, what you need is something like this. Yeah, what this is a stick. When I say you need a stick, this is what you need. You need a stick. This is, well, it's actually the trunk of an ash that got to be about 15 foot tall that was growing in my backyard. And traditionally, these are used, you would make a spear out of something like this. But fundamentally, it's just about 6 foot of wood, right? But these things have got absolutely no give in them whatsoever. So they're not a great stick for thwacking somebody with, but they're a right good stick. In fact, probably the best stick ever for just going for the nuts. So what you need is one of these, right? And as long as you've got one of these and you've got a plan of attack, you never have to worry about trans activists coming along and killing you. So my suggestion is, you go out to your garden and go and find a baby tree that you're willing to sacrifice to give yourself the best weapon available for, jabbing people hard in the nuts. They generally don't expect it. And that's the day when they arrive. I mean, I've been mouthing off on the internet for, 10 years and more. And all I've ever had to defend myself is this stick and a plan of attack. And I've never needed it, but I always had it. I have to make a joke of it because there's a common conversation I have with a mate of mine on the internet who's a famous narcissist, a famous one. And he is vulnerable to that kind of thing. People making threats, people making death threats. And it's because he's narcissistic, right? Because, believe it or not, if people are sending you death threats or implying that they might have you bumped off, well, it's a big up. It feeds one's sense of self. At the same time as frightening someone, and then it's a matter of this, it can become like titillating, a fetish. It's like to capture someone's imagination and then find out you can trigger them by dog whistling them that, watch where you go, and that have an effect on you because it kind of makes you feel good about yourself in a weird way, and then become all you speak of. Right. That's how you do a mind job on someone. That's how you break them. And it's like he's got a card and a witch is coming after him and they mean to emotionally break him. And that's the methodology that they've put into practice. And it's a matter of he hasn't got any way of defending against it. He hasn't. If you weigh up the life he's had since he became really successful, he's had people blowing smoke up his arse his whole life, telling him how great he is. And he could afford to be a good person. And then it's a matter of, he's played his own part in the past in these witch hunts. You know, something of this internet bloodlust, this I can virtue signal, I prove myself good. He's part of it. It just came a day where he found himself under attack and went, oh my God, these people who've been attacked are right. And then he finds himself unlikely allies. When it's a matter of, mate, it's like, there's nothing saintly about you, but you know, the reason you're under attack is because you've hit a truly despicable target. But it's like, you've got a similar nature to them. The tricks that they will try are the ones that would work best on them if they were to be isolated and focused upon with a lot of poison pen hate, and it have an accumulative effect. It would work on them. If people started doing it to them, they'd be screaming blue fucking murder and getting the cops involved and bringing the authorities crashing down on everyone who made them feel uncomfortable. If you started letting on to them that they might be, you know, with a man with a big stick who's going to go for your nuts might turn up on your front doorstep. It's like, if he starts to see that as being titillating, it might sound counterintuitive, but it means that they've got him. And then they'll know how to make him react. They'll know how to fuck up his day every day. And that'll be to crack on that there's someone coming round to get you. That'll be to crack on that you're not safe. And that will be a matter of, you fall into it. The trick is known as the targeted individual. And it works on everybody who isn't aware of who isn't aware of the strategy. If you can convince someone that they're targeted, feeds the narcissism. If they don't know they're in that way addictable to that kind of stimuli, you can get them addicted to it by exposing them to it over and over and over again. And then suddenly, every time Linehan opens his mouth in company, all I can talk about is how the world is after him. And he sounds like a fucking lunatic. And that's their endgame. That's what they do. That's how they get rid of someone. It's like, oh, he's gone crazy and disappeared. It's like, no, you've gangstalked him to death with death threats. You've poisoned his mind with psychic weapons. You've captured his imagination and he's become addicted to the stimuli. I think he's actually vulnerable to that. If you start rebroadcasting, when someone sent you an implied death threat and you rebroadcast it, look at this, look at this, look at this. You're just telling them that it's working because that's their only strategy. You're telling them that it's working, it's feedback. You're encouraging them to do it more. I shouldn't have to explain this, should I? It's like 5-year-olds know about bullies. But you don't expect the emotional behaviour of 5-year-olds from adults, and that's why it's confounding. Because that's what it is more than anything else. It's confounding. It's like, how could anyone be so dull, stupid, stubborn, and mean at the same time? And it's like, you've never met a nasty kid, have you?